also have with us our friend Praveen Raghuvanshi ji, who is a technocrat and a Fauji from Navy captain, and then a technical advisor, IT advisor to CDAC Pune, and gold medalist from Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. Let's hear our friend Praveen ji, who was talking to me on a topic, which is called regimentation of, people. The way India has produced, a good, number of Faujis who are guarding, India in the external territories. Similarly, we have police system which is guarding, India internally. Similarly, we have teachers who are giving sanskar, to students, in society. But there is one thing which is lacking, and that is, regimentation. That is lacking is commonality of thoughts, and that too talking about ethos, values, and really practicing it like, gurus of past, and shastrarth deliberations talk used to happen. So I would like to invite Praveen ji to talk about how we can create, the army of good teachers. Certainly those teachers will need to be, supported by parents, government, politicians, administrators. But how this can happen, and what is the rationale behind developing such army? Because if that doesn't happen, perhaps we will still be not be able to bring big impact, in our education system, in spite of we having a very good education policy.
Thank you, Raviji. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, having heard two eminent speakers, I will slightly widen my scope also. That's what I mentioned to you about regimentation and ethos and all that.
Right.
Well, this is 1/100 of anything, Okay, last 3 days I was quite busy with Raise 2020. This idea coined by our Honorable Prime Minister. And we just finished 2-3 lectures at international level. So where we talked about machine translation, which I am into for last about 13-14 years, machine translation. Plus I have been doing a lot of other translation also. I'll come to it subsequently. So that's where we talked, the topic was theory to practice. What is happening? We talk sitting in an AC air conditioned room, theory, concept, and all that. But nothing goes out of it. It always remains, we conduct meetings, and thereafter, again, one more meeting. Nobody does look after the action part. Where is the action? If the action, what are the actionable points? What action you are taking? Who is taking? What is the monitoring and reviewing system? What is the course correction? How you taking it further to its logical end? Nobody talks about it. Since I am Ahmedabad background, so I can logically and rightfully talk about it. Because once you know what happened, the eminent professors, including you might have heard about Kotler also. Kotler book was authored by Koshi, Professor Koshi, the marketing head professor. So first 2-3 days, no, I'm not going to teach anything. Just go to street, go to that bazaar and all that, and see how that vendor is selling his kangi or whatever menial product he is selling, and give me a report. So whole day we went there. He says, okay, fine. So he asked us, what is that? What did you observe? He was selling and he was calling them and this and that. He says, no, go again. Next day also. It happened for 3 days. Then we said, why is that he is doing that? There you come to know, if he doesn't sell that day, उसके घर में चूल्हा नहीं जलेगा. So it is for his living भूखा मर जाएगा, उसके बच्चे भूखा मर जाएंगे. So point is that he has to that fire has to be there. Talking, it doesn't solve anything. So now that you've been talking about Fauji part, well, all three chiefs are my coachmate: Admiral KB Singh, General Naravne, and Air Chief Bhadoria. And I've been in flying branch. Quite a bit of experience I've got on heavy aircraft and anti-submarine warfare and blah blah blah. Plus, I was a deep sea diver also, and what do you call qualified to command all warship as well as merchant ship, and got award from President of India also, Nausena Medal, which is for valiant gallantry jobs you get. So I'm not talking much about Forge at the moment. So I'm coming back to theory to practice. And when you're coming to the national policies, where you are handling raw kit, like 5334, people have talked about, I've also gone through all this. So what is saliently missing is the pragmatic approach, the practical part. How you are developing is, you cannot go and see something on the blackboard and talk to him and he'll become, हाँ मैंने ज्ञान ले लिया सीख गया मैं सब. ऐसा नहीं होता. He has to go and do it himself. Somebody was asking me, how do you motivate people? I said, I don't have to motivate people. I have to lead my people. Since I am ready to prepare to die with them, they know what is motivation. And nobody knows better than me about the motivation, how to motivate people. That's why people die with us. Again, a child must know how a nation is built, and built around what? What are the ethos? What are the values? What are the national character? How do you build that? Now it starts, supposing like say 3 to 5 years there. What will you teach? 3 to 5 years not knowing much, but at least put all those gallantry award winners and all those the guys who have fought in freedom fight and all that, struggle and all that, all the noble people. So he sees, and then there is one jigyasha, there is a curiosity. He wants to know more. Who are these people? Why his photo has been put there? Likewise, gradually you start building the society. Society through practical approach. Involve them, train them, instill values in them. Once you instill values, build character, and initially if it is built, why is that when you say Chinese maal hai, so what is the brand value you're giving? That you know Chinese maal hai, it's a brand. What is brand first of all? Brand is nothing but a set of promises. Chinese maal hai, matlab, it's not having much of value. You don't know how long will it last. But at the same time, if you say Sony, Japanese stuff, oh yes, it's good, and so many promises is going to deliver. So that's how the brand value, the character value we have to build in our students. And for that, it is utmost very, very important that there is no compromises done on the teacher side. Best of the people should come as teachers. What is happening, like ma'am said, that like Dr. Raman said, it's not happening that way. Why are we compromising? I'm not talking about reservation and all. You keep on doing reservation. You give all the facilities. Bring that student up to the level where he competes with the rest of the guys, and the best of the guys are selected because they are going to train the next generation. And that next generation is going to lead our country. Unless we are sure, we are confident, we are competent, we'll stand nowhere. So now machine translation, I was talking about translation. I'm happy to say that I have translated work of Prime Minister of India, which he highly appreciated also. Now last about 8-10 years, what I'm doing is, I'm trying to pick up whatever good literature is there in Hindi or Urdu or Sanskrit. These three languages I'm slightly aware of. Translate it into English so that it reaches across the globe. And पूरी दुनिया हमारे साहित्य का रसास्वादन करे, उसका आनंद ले, उसकी जो richness है उसको महसूस करे. This is what is required. Otherwise, people think that we are still living in the world of snake charmers and all that. No, You're mistaken. We are leading everywhere. Every organization abroad, one Indian is sitting there, and they are known as intellectuals. So we have to project ourselves in the right earnest. For that, it is very, very important that we must do these kind of a thing also. And English aspect, I'm very, very sorry to say that people have been opposing. You must know at least a pair of language so that you can communicate. Hindi tar kshetron mein jaएं, beyond where Hindi is not spoken, you'll find difficult to even converse. You cannot put across anything. People, you go to Tamil Nadu and try. What I'm trying to say, don't force anything, but it is an option. When you go abroad, you are having an option. You can converse, you can communicate, you can tell about your culture. That is where it is required. So don't say that, throw English and Hindi. No, it cannot happen. It is not a very practical this thing. Those who are not good in other languages, like ma'am knows so many languages, like Dr. Raman is aware of so many languages, like you yourself said of the Spanish and whatnot. So open your book and start doing in that, all that. So what I was trying to say that our culture, our literature, our ethos, our the goodness about our culture, our society must be spread across the globe so that everybody knows about that. And this is what we have to do in a systematic way. Now let's coming to another part. I've been experimenting a lot because I'm not satisfied with the life. You must do something else. Ye kar liya aur karna hai. I have done 2 painting exhibition. I'm Bombay Film Writer Association member and doing a lot of other thing also. So what I'm trying to say is that, like ma'am said about the spiritual world, I'm very fortunate that I've got few gurus, and I'm going to make a statement. Please don't ridicule me. I have had live darshan of that supreme power thrice, not once, thrice. I'm just saying, leaving it at there only. Why? How? Don't ask me. You can say God is not there, fine. I can also say God is not there. Where is electricity? आप दिखाओ मुझे. नहीं दिखा सकते. You can only experience. Touch a live wire, then you'll understand. Yes, हाँ electricity होती है. If I ask you कि लाइट कहाँ है, लाइट दिखाओ, तो आप क्या करोगे? बल्ब दिखाओगे. वो देखो लाइट. नो, वो तो बल्ब है. अच्छा हाँ सही बात है, वो तो बल्ब है. अच्छा लैंप, वो तो लैंप है. अच्छा वो क्या है? वो अलमारी है, वो टीवी है. Can you show the light? No. Like somebody said about the darkness. Darkness is nothing called darkness. It is the absence of light. Is darkness. So that is what is the guru. Guru, जो अंधकार से प्रकाश की ओर ले जाए. ये काम है हमारा. But what I'm trying to say is that we have to be pragmatic. The generation which we are taking now, we should take it to the next level of practical education. And another thing, I'll not take much time. I don't know how much time you have given to me. I've got a lot to say. Last में I'll come to the supercomputing side. एक छोटा सा स्टोरी, आपने द्रोणाचार्य जी की बात की थी कि आप तो जानते हैं 2 फेमस कैरेक्टर, अर्जुन और दुर्योधन, दोनों बहुत अच्छे दोस्त थे ना?
Right.
नहीं साहब, जानी दुश्मन थे. ठीक है. तो क्या होता था, द्रोणाचार्य साहब जब सिखाते थे तो he used to always say वाह when Arjun used to shoot an arrow. और दुर्योधन में कुछ नहीं बोलते थे. So Duryodhan was quite wary about it. He was quite cut up. He said, Guruji, you are very, very partial. You always praise Arjun, but I'm also doing the same thing. I also hit the target and all, but you never say, let's have a competition. So let's have a competition. Guruji somehow used to avoid it. One fine day he said, Guruji, you are scared. Your favorite guy will lose. So that's why you're not conducting the competition. So let's have one. So Guruji said, okay, so you wish, we will do that. Anyway, it was announced. कि भाई कल competition होने वाला है, so everybody was called and everybody was curious also what will happen. So they went to a field where a bull was grazing. एक जो bull होता है वो घास चर रहा था वहाँ पे. So this guy asked Duryodhan, Guruji, what is the target? He says, that is the target. I said, okay, fine. इसमें क्या है? बोले, just hold on. You have to chop his neck off. तो उसने कहा हाँ मैं करता हूँ. तो उसने तीर, whatever, he picked it up and then again aimed at it. But surprisingly, the perspective was such that only thing one could see was the hind legs and the tail, because he was grazing facing in other direction. So however hard he tried, he could not hit it. He could not chop the head. He said, what kind of target is there, ye, wo, and all, what we, nobody can do it and all. He said, don't say, can you do it or no? He said, no, I can't do it. Finally, he gave up. Then he called Arjun, can you do it? He says, Gurudev, I will try. So he also went there and did the full thing, full aiming, and took his arrow and all that. And then everybody was saying as to how he's going to cut it. That when the neck is not seen. So that's the time he shouted, "Hurr!" Moment he said "Hurr," the bull turned. He started looking backwards. Moment he started looking backwards, the neck was visible, and it was chopped. Right? So that's where the Guru said, it is not what I'm trying to teach you. I'm trying to instill that Hur value into it. So that when you go into the practical field, you can apply yourself and you can produce results. You can do a lot of good things and all that. So our education policies have to be like that we are instilling Hur also in our students. So that practically the pragmatic approach, which when they go to the field, they are able to execute. Well, I will not take much time now. Finally, we are into supercomputing field. At the moment, we are leading 15 country consortia, where US, UK, Germany, Italy, France, including European Union, everybody is there in artificial intelligence. And from lab to land to marketing, so that the prosperity reaches to the lowest strata of the society. It percolates down. And we are going to go in a very, very big collaborative manner. And the results are very good, and we are forming all this and doing our bit. Lastly, the research part. We have to produce the research capable students. Otherwise, what will happen? Either Google में देखा, उधर Google में देखा, और एक research paper to avoid the IP rights and plagiarism and all that, and then कुछ एक paper निकाल. It's not the way. You have to think out of the box, innovate, come to the field and design something new. Think ahead. Where the normal thinking finishes, you have to produce leaders. What is a leader? When normal people's thinking stops, that's where the leader's thinking start. And then he takes us forward and he sacrifices for other. So my point is that only that nation building also through nationalism. Nationalism is what? Character building, ethos building, value building, and nation is paramount. And there's nothing about the nation. That feeling has to come in each one of us, even the younger generation and the generation which is going to lead the country. Thank you very much.
I like the idea of this practical approach. I believe they are talking about some practical part also in the education system, which is very important. Earlier it was more to do with theory. They are giving due importance to, new education system now. But Pravinji, there is one aspect, that I would like to hear also from Alokji, and then we will open the floor for discussion for some time. And that aspect that we are talking about is, national character. I thank our Chris Menon and G, and as well as Nehruji and some good policy makers who created a concept of developing Sainik schools. And similarly, there are some good schools like Netherhat and private schools also like Doon as well as Birla School, or at variety of other centers, including Wilhelms, elite school we call them. And at the end of the day, now currently all these schools, including Sainik schools, come under elite schools because they have good resources.
Yeah, Ravi, एक point और कहना था मुझे. I have commanded 2 NCC organizations also. I was group commander.
Right.
In Maharashtra, and twice we won the Prime Minister's banner and the most enterprising unit also.
Right.
Why? Because we were always on the field and leading the guys and training them, whatever best we could give. And they were way, way, way ahead. Entire team of mine, I had 16 colonels with me, and we could lead the team also, and we produce results. So that is what I'm trying to say, that it's simple also and is as difficult also.
Right.
That's all.
So that means when you are on the ground, practically, I have also witnessed, perhaps we all could have witnessed, that if you are surrounded by good teachers, you are being shaped every minute, every second. I recall, I was preschool time before Sainik School Tilaiya. I was studying in a Gurukul kind of a school. Our Guruji was only interested in getting the best out of you. And unfortunate part was that he used to, beat with the cane that he had. बहुत पेनफुल होता था वो समय. But the spirit with which he was teaching us, we were never kind of had a very negative image about him, because every minute we used to interact, we used to gain something. Similarly, when we went to school, we had some good teachers, dedicated ones, which are, I believe, we are very fortunate, who have shaped us, every minute, including way of talking, including your PT, your English, Hindi, Sanskrit, ethos, culture, discipline, झूठ नहीं बोलना, respect करना, officer-like qualities, all these things have been shaped. So we call it good sanskar, given. But, when we are talking about developing national character, such kind of concepts, play a major role. In one, Facebook as well as WhatsApp discussion, the question came, can't we also make, our education system include compulsory military education for all the youth after they finish their school? So maybe something positive can come out of it. Of course, somebody can, question it, because there are people who fight for, liberty of freedom of, thought, action. There are champions who start fighting about it, and they say that ये तो आपका human right violation हो जाएगा और आपका
आपके विचारक मंच में मैंने देखी थी ये बातें सुनी भी थी.
Right.
But
So all these things there
are middle ways, Ravi ji. I will discuss that.
Alok ji, मैं आ रहा हूँ आपके पास. So in that kind of a situation, perhaps I believe that could be one of the fastest way of at least avoiding the crisis to which we are heading, because of the gap that has been created in our education system for last 20 years or 30 years. The deterioration of quality, deterioration of ethics, values, etc. Opportunism has increased. Right.
We should never forget the prevailing geopolitical situation.
Yes, including geopolitical situation
around India,
right,
where China is doing, where what Pakistan is doing. We have to have trained manpower,
right,
at a short notice, which can go and fight.
Certainly.
Enemies.
So keeping that point also into consideration, that we are surrounded by enemies, and we certainly, India needs a big human resources to even fight external forces. So why not discipline ourselves and make things more better by giving such kind of training, not rigorous military training, but at least civil defense kind of training, at least a regimentation kind of training, at least certain discipline, so that we can,
डॉक्टर साहब का एक पॉइंट मुझे याद आ गया कि इंडिया में एक ही खुदा है, बाकी लोग आते हैं जाते हैं. जो IS लॉबी है वो हर जगह हर चीज कंट्रोल कर रही है, वो होने नहीं देती.